Welcome back to Newsmaker Live, and thank you for staying tuned to this program. We're talking Expo 2012. We're here with the director of the OPSR, the Office of Private Sector Relations, Ms. Jacqueline Emmanuel, and now joining us on our set is Roston Taylor. He has been here before, so we're not going to take too much time to bring him in. He's representing the St. Lucia Manufacturers Association. Welcome, Roston. It's nice to have you again.
Hi, good evening, Cliff. It is always a pleasure to be here. Good night to your viewers.
Great. Well. I'm sure that, I mean, when we talk about export, you're a manufacturer, you deal with goods, and normally when we're discussing exports, we're talking about exporting goods, so that is where you come in, and the sector that you represent would be factoring big
on goods
in Expo 2012.
Yeah. Yes, but the Expo 2012 goes a little bit beyond that, I think,
right.
as you mentioned earlier. It does take into account services. The manufacturing sector, as you know, we've been making some strides in trying to get into new markets, working on labeling, working on improving our standards so we can be competitive internationally. That's not going to stop, it's only going to get more aggressive. So you're going to see a lot more manufacturers coming through the fray with better standards, ISO certified, and new labeling. You've seen Barron with his new labels. We have a number of companies investing millions of dollars in equipment in order for them to be more competitive globally.
And of course, with what the OPSR is doing through this trade promotion program, the manufacturers and other sectors will benefit from that.
Definitely. I think we have a number of manufacturers who participated in that expo. As Jackie said, I think from 2004, we've been working on the national export strategy. Unfortunately, it has taken this long for the TIPA, again we're going to be speaking in Cinnamons, Trade Export Promotion Agency, to come along. What we would really like to see is the OPSR through TIPA actually start working with companies which are near export readiness and carry them along. These, at that stage of the developmentals, they need that hand-holding. They don't know how to make that transition. And the SMA can do something. We don't have the right infrastructure in place. We're hoping with support from government and the TIPA, they can actually make a difference with these small companies who are trying to make that transition.
And how quickly do you see that happening?
Making transitions from domestic producers into exporters takes some time. There is that growth stage. Depends on the markets that you're trying to get into. Sometimes 2 years, sometimes 3 years, sometimes longer. Some markets require a lot of patience and a lot of work, a lot of money in order to penetrate those markets. But closer to home, I think there's a lot of potential for us to penetrate OECS, Barbados. The SMA is now starting to focus on Trinidad. It has to be two ways. It can't just be one way, and we're going to go after them aggressively.
I mean, you look at a company, and you mentioned Barron Foods, and they're doing some fantastic, well, not only labeling, but product
new products,
product development as well. And they're probably a model that many businesses can follow.
Need to follow, exactly.
You know, as far as getting out and penetrating other market. How much are you looking at that whole modeling from an OPSR standpoint, saying, okay, let's take this business that has shown that it is capable and that it has found a formula, and probably we can borrow some aspects of that formula and apply to other businesses in our local market?
Definitely. It's something we have discussed with Barron Foods, and I must say to their credit, they're very open and very willing to do so. If you come into Expo 2012, you see that they're very prominent. I mean, this is a company that wins because they said they had to win, and they go in a big way to win. And even today we're discussing that. We're expecting, even in the forum of Expo 2012, the companies can have a chance to look at themselves vis-a-vis others, and hopefully that itself will become a platform for them to learn and to compete, because we do have some pretty good forerunners.
Yeah, we do.
Especially in manufacturing. They're very at the forefront of product development, and that's one of the areas that I think Barron Foods must get some credit for. They're a company that uses local materials. They are and one of those truly a model that we would like to see. And they're very willing to do that. We have others like this, distillers. We just came out of Trinidad, as a matter of fact, the Trinidad Expo last week with a few others. We had Viking Traders and Natmed, and they did excellently. Lubeco was in Trinidad first, excellently. So we have companies at different stages. I mean, Rustin mentioned those that need to make the transition from local to export. We are working very closely with the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, and I'd like to bring them in at this point in the discussion, because they are doing some of the work at industry level, which is necessary, because we certainly don't want to be helping the same companies over and over again. What we need is a process line.
Graduation.
There we have companies that are coming up, and so there are a number of programs that are in the make to get companies from the very startup, to move them on to export.
And let me just interject here, because you're talking about the graduation of companies, and some of them are getting assistance from the OPSR. Is there a responsibility or a requirement by these companies to reach back and assist smaller companies that are coming up, since they're being rendered assistance?
Clinton, you made a point earlier about sustainability of the effort, and I mentioned it will take coordination. It will take input from all parties, all stakeholders, I think would be the better word to use. And that's the model we want to put in place. For example, even as we're moving ahead as a trade export promotion agency, one of our core principles is that we will not fund something 100%. It's a joint effort. The companies must put, and we will put. Companies like Baron Foods, who have really shown their ability to succeed, we have already approached them, and they said yes, they're willing to help. And so what we're hoping to is an integrated approach that we're looking for. And the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, I think, is perpetuating that philosophy in the fact that they have literally reorganized the ministry, or they are working at it to reorganize the ministry. And OPSR actually comes under that ministry. And as a TPO, that's where we fall. And so we're working very closely, because we recognize that we need to be able to move businesses up the ladder. There's some, even the Baron Foods, for example, and the distillers, whom we are very proud of, they still need help. We are working to provide certain services to them. And those that are in the middle, some of those who are doing well, but they facing stiff competition, they're looking for new markets. We are working right now as a TPA with the International Trade Center to really improve our capabilities to do in market intelligence, market research, market analysis, so we can find opportunities for them and help them to do that. One of the things that is very prominent, I think Expo 2012 is showing us, there's a lot of work to be done in terms of merchandising, in terms of our skills in promoting. Like I mentioned, I have a good product, but I know I have a good product, but I have to make sure that the buyer sees that I have a good product, and how I showcase the product. So there's a lot of work to be done. It's, like I said, we just started, but we need to really get together and get moving as a group.
I'd like to bring I'd like to bring my wife into some of these discussions, and she would kick me for it, but still, she's big on branding. She's big on brand name, so I tell her, babe, but read the label. It has the same ingredients. Everything is the same. It's just that this is a generic brand which costs like 50 cents less, and this one, because of that name, you're paying for that name, and really I don't want to pay for it.
People, I don't think many people know that, but the same person who developed the formula for Heinz ketchup actually developed the formula for Baron Foods.
Really?
The Baron ketchup, So these are some of the things people don't know. And
these are things we should be we should be blowing the trumpet about.
Brands are a good thing to know and have, but it boils down to the quality of the product.
Yes.
You can get a brand actually putting out a very poor quality. It will carry, the brand name will carry through. So I would say to consumers, try something new. Don't be scared. I will guarantee you that most of the domestic products will stand up to any product brought in internationally. And I say most because there's still a lot of work to be done with some.
In any market you find, you have the high.
But like I said to you, Clinton, we make it our business since we have been given that task to go out there and see the products, research them, we want to know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And we need to know our products if we're going to export them. And I could tell you, there are some brands that are here that are excellent, the best. I mean, we just moved into a new office, and we would have nothing else but Caribbean awning for our blinds. I haven't seen a better product on the market. I'm being totally honest.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a better quality product on the market. So, I mean, I don't know, Mint and Wishes know that.
Yeah.
You know, so we do have products that can stand, and we want when people come into the TIPA office that they see the best of what St. Lucia has.
And I mean, I'm looking forward to the expo because, you know,
Yeah.
I want to see the products. I think there was a similar program some time ago. And
National exhibition.
Yeah.
I wanted to speak about it. It was put on the Chamber of Commerce in collaboration with the
I
SMA.
walked through there and I was just amazed to
Yeah.
see some of the products
Yeah.
that we were producing locally. But we're due for a break. When we come
Okay.
back, we can talk about that
Definitely.
national exposition and in relation to what we're having
is
now
happening now.
in 2012. And also, we'll be taking your calls. So stay tuned to Newsmaker Live. We'll be back with Jacqueline Albertini and Jacqueline
Roston.
Emmanuel and Roston
You
Taylor
got it right this time. Oh.
after this. Stay with us.
He knows me too well.